Hello, everybody. Dr. Rick Wallace here, dropping in on you. I know I've been away for a second. It's got a lot going on. Going to make an announcement real quick so that you'll understand why I've been a little sporadic as far as the videos in the morning. Um, After a couple of years of um, discussion with my wife, and those who follow me know I have a lot going on. I am up between 4:30, 5 o'clock every morning. And I'm in bed, after 10 every night. And I'm moving and I'm doing, and so I'm busy. And so my wife has been on me about something that she is very passionate about me. And that's in the area of teaching um, spiritual truths, spiritual empowerment, void of the rigidity and density of religion. In other words, uh, more about true relationship with the Creator. And she's been on me about it, and I've been like, there's a lot of history with me and it has been troubling to say the least. But after giving it some serious consideration, we have decided that we will be launching the Safe Haven Spiritual and Community Outreach Center. And that will happen this year. So there is a lot of shifting and planning and trying to figure out how this is going to look, because I'm not going to abandon the work I'm doing in the community. It's going to be an extension of it. And I'm also going to continue to run my businesses. There'll be some significant differences in this and what will be traditional. And so we're still working that out. There's a lot to do. So keep that in mind. Also, we're still doing the pre-order for I Am, which is my 21st book. I Am is a book about self-talk. It's a book about declaration. It's a book about what follows the I Am discussions in your life, whether it's self-talk or whether it's dual conversation or multiple party conversations. What follows the I Am, because that's the declaration that's establishing your reality and setting your course. And that's what the book is about. Right now, if you pre-order the book, you get it at a discounted price. Additionally, you not only get it at a discounted price, but you get a free 30-minute session. I had one of the most awesome 30-minute sessions with a young brother, who to me is exceptional in himself, highly spiritual, highly knowledgeable. And he sat down with me for over an hour. It was supposed to be a 30-minute session. We went over an hour yesterday, and it was remarkable. I was blessed, I think, as much as he was. And so I'm excited about these sessions. So if you haven't pre-ordered your book, now's the time to do that. Go ahead and get it. And I'm going to go ahead and talk about what I have to talk about, so I don't have to be here this long. Trying to find a way with all these new shifts in things that we're trying to get done, trying to find a way to get back to a consistent place in what we're doing. And you're probably getting, from what I'm getting on my reading on my feedback, is that it might be some glitches in the video, which is probably off of the course for the last couple of weeks. Everything is happening, but hopefully it's not too bad and you can get what I'm saying here. All right, today is about it's Relationship Wednesday, and so we're going to talk in some area of relationships. What I want to talk to you about is the need to build an effective circle. You've heard me say this numerous times, that those in your periphery are influencing you. That's a common saying in the industry that I operate in, that you are going to be the average. I think Jim Rohn is one of the first people I've heard say it, but that was a long, long time ago. But he's, that you will be, basically your life will be an average of the 5 people you hang around the most. The people you spend the most time with, the 5 people you spend the most time with, are going to be the highest influencers. Okay, now we both know that we're born into a circle. We got parents, siblings, cousins, and we got schoolmates and teachers and all of this. That's what I call your organic circle. That's a circle you inherit just by coming into the world and being in an environment that you really don't have a whole lot of control over as a child. That's an organic circle. That's not the circle ultimately that's going to have the greatest impact. Now, it's going to set a standard because in those first 5 to 7 years, you're in a state of theta. So you're absorbing everything. You're coming up with the boundaries, the limitations, the norms and standards that create your conscious and your moral threshold. All of that stuff's happening by the age of 5 to 7. And so a lot of what you go through in that time is going to have a massive impact on how you view life, how you approach life, what you think you're capable of doing, what you think you can't do. A lot of that's going to take place, but we know now that the brain has what we call neuroplasticity, meaning that you can entertain new ideas each and every day and grow yourself, expand yourself. You're never stuck in any state. Now, while that state is hardwired and set, it can be rewired with hard work. So we know that that's not a lock-in, so you can overcome that. What's the next big factor? Well, whether you overcome that or not is going to weigh heavily on who you surround yourself with. And that's the beautiful thing about this life, is that as humans, we come in and yes, we inherit an environment. We inherit a certain heritage. It may be a heritage of poverty, maybe a heritage of domestic violence. It may be a heritage of criminal activity, or it may be a heritage of financial abundance. It could be a bunch of different things we inherit. But it's going to be up to us what we do with it. If we need to change it, it's going to be up to us. And see, that's the beauty of being human, is because you're never stuck in any situation. If you don't like it, you can change it. And that's the beauty of it. But what happens is, in order to change it, you got to put yourself in the proper environment to feed and to catalyze the change. So here we are. We're in a situation and we're saying, you hear me talk about people in your periphery or your circle, those people who are directly connected to you. Let's talk about the 5, because it said, Jim Rohn said the 5 people you spend the most time around with are going to ultimately have the highest influence on who you become. You're going to be the average of the 5 people you hang around with. Well, what happens even with people who try to construct their circle is they don't do it with a sense of intent and a sense of purpose. It's like, I like you, you're cool, you're doing this. And what can happen is you can have 5 great people in your circle, but it doesn't feed the totality of who you are and grow you the way you need to grow. There is a need to have certain types of people in that circle. And so you may have more than one of these types, but the ones that are most emphatic are going to be the 5 that have the greatest influence. Let me explain to you what I'm saying. I'm going to give you 5 types of people you need in your life in order to have the best opportunity to expand, to explode, to explore, to become everything that you were designed to become, to live your life at the level of your design. It's not just haphazard. It's not just grabbing some great people who are cool to hang out with. It's not just getting away from the negativity. Yes, you need to get away from the negativity. Yes, you need to get away from people who can't see the potential in you. Yes, you need to get away from people who are always looking for ways to bring you down and tear you down. This is not talking about constructive criticism. This is talking about those who can only see the negative and always point out the negative. Constructive criticism is always best experienced sandwiched between praise. When you got someone who is really trying to be constructive, they start out with something positive. Man, you're great at this. Girl, you do this awesome. And then they'll follow it, but I've been noticing this, and this is what I see. And then they also add a solution of how you can do it better than what you're doing it based on their opinion. And then they follow it again with some type of praise. But when you look at it, you're really killing it. You're doing this, but I think this will work better. That's constructive criticism. But when somebody's coming, all they've got is, you really can't do that. Y'all know why you're trying to do this. You know you failed this time. You know that that's not constructive criticism. Yes, you need to get away from that. But it's more than just getting away from the negative. That's going to be important in constructing and building this circle. This is not your organic circle. This is, you aren't born in it. You get to create it. You get to purposely and personally select the people you want around you that feel these. Now, there are different types of people you need in there. It's not just, you can't have all one type, because you're going to suffer in other areas. So I'm going to give you 5. And you can find more, but you got to have these 5 to have the best shot. And we're going to start with friends. A real true friend. We're not talking about associates here. We're talking about friends. A real true friend is literally going to have such a care and concern for you that they're literally connected to your heart. They're connected to your heart's desires. They feel what you feel. They go through what you go through. You're down, they're down. You're up, they're up. They literally get joy by seeing you happy. That is a real true friend. That's a friend that's going to be there for you through the ups and through the downs. They literally have a strong sense of empathy with you because they're connected to your heart. Then there's the peer, number 2. Number 2 is your peer. Now, a lot of people confuse peers with friends. Your friends aren't your peers. See, peers are more defined in a sense of expertise, industry, knowledge, function. See, when you have a true peer, your peer challenges you. Your peer helps to set a standard of what's going on. Your peer will also serve as a sounding board. In other words, in what I do, my peers are going to function in the area of psychology, in the area of quantum physics, in the area of human behavior, functionality, and performance. That's where I operate. And so my peers are the people who do that. And the peer that I lean into or that I have in my top 5 is a very exceptional person in this area. Someone I can sit back and we can talk it up and we can share and we literally lift each other, push each other, and we have these conversations. And so that's it. So a peer is not a friend. A peer is someone who functions in the same area that you function in, the area that your passion and your work is in. Not necessarily your job, but your passion and your work. See, to me, work and job is 2 different things. See, a job is something somebody hires you to do and you get paid to do it. Your work is something, that is deeply rooted in you. It's a part of your purpose. It's a part of your passion. It's something that you're never going to retire from. It's something that you're never going to let go of. It's something that you will wake up every morning loving to do no matter what's going on in your life. It's your escape and your purpose. If you need to do something to get your mind on something, you go to your passion and your work because it's where you find the greatest sense of fulfillment. Well, that's where you have to find your peer. Your peer is going to be someone else. If you're a pastor, it's going to probably be another pastor. If you are a teacher, it's probably going to be another teacher. So it's not necessarily going to be somebody you hang out with and get drinks and all that stuff with. It's going to be someone you respect. They're doing it the right way. They've shown that they can be successful in it, and they will hold you accountable. They will also help you set the standard, and they will be a sounding board and everything else. The next thing you want is a mentor. Now, a lot of people get confused with what a mentor is. A mentor is a person who has one goal. And we turn our mentors into our fathers and our mothers and sisters and brothers. And before you know it, you overwhelm a person who really only has one purpose. A mentor's purpose is to set you in the right direction with the least amount of resistance. In other words, a mentor is going to be the person that's going to bring you what my grandmother called borrowed sense. My grandmother called borrowed sense. She had borrowed sense and bought sense. That's how she explained a lot of things when I was learning growing up. Borrowed sense is when you tap into somebody else that has experienced what you are going through already. And you lean into them and you use their experience and their knowledge to avoid pitfalls, poor decisions, and mistakes that hold you back and slow you down. That's borrowed sense. Bought sense is when you refuse to take borrowed sense and you end up having to go through it yourself. Now, both are necessary in life. There's some things you simply need to experience on your own. But when you can, you want to borrow sense and you want to take it. Your mentor is going to loan you their experience, and they're going to sit up and they're going to say, look, I wouldn't do that. This is probably not good. Their goal is to be on the path to head where you say you want to be. It's nothing else. That's not your buddy. That's not the person you want to go kick it with. You don't go on vacations with them. That person's sole responsibility is to lend to you their experience. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't have somebody that you've got this hybrid relationship with, but that's not going to be the person that's in the number one spot. The one in the number one spot is the one that's their job. They're going to be straight with you. They're going to hold you accountable. They're going to point you in the right direction. Now, I have hybrid relationships with where I function as both mentor, friend, buddy, whatever, but they will still need somebody that is not invested any other way, because there's some times that you got to be real honest and frank with someone, and you don't need feelings getting in the way. You just need to be up and say, hey, that's not what you need to be doing. Straighten it up, get it right, keep going. Next is a coach. Now, a coach is different than a mentor. A coach, if you look at the definition of the word, a coach is a person that's going to look at where your weaknesses are, look at where your strengths are, look at how you perform, find the best place for you on the team. That's what a coach is going to do. A coach is going to sit up, and you might want to do this because it looks good. But a coach is going to say, that's not where your gifts are at. You can do this because you can do anything, but if you really want to be the best you can be, you need to be over here. And then the coach is going to show you how to develop the skills to do that. That's what a coach does. A coach is going to develop your skills. It's going to help you perform. It's going to help you go to the next level. Hey, Michael Jordan, man, we need to get together, dude. I know you like the busiest dude in the world and everything. I'm glad I looked down. We need to get together, man. Hopefully tomorrow. Find somewhere we can sit up and meet up talking about mentor relationships and friend relationships. That's my dude. But yeah, man, hey, I'm glad you popped in. But yeah, so here's the thing. You've got this situation where you know you want to do something, but a coach is that person that's going to get the most out of you. It's going to put you in the right direction. You know, if you look at it in the most easiest way to make this analogy, you know, you come in, you want to play quarterback, but the coach determines, or you want to play running back, but the coach determines that you have this uncanny ability to play receiver or quarterback or whatever. You like instinctively are better at that than you are at what you want to play. You know this position because you've seen it, and you come to a point where you really and truly like the position, but you're better at something else. Okay, that's a coach. Finally, after you get through your friends, your peer, your mentor, and your coach, a cheerleader. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of having a cheerleader in your life. You're going to have enough people who are going to tear you down. You're going to have enough people who are trying to tell you what you can and cannot do. You're going to have enough people who are trying to undercut what you're doing and talk you down. What you need is one person, at least one person. This person that's going to take this fifth and final position, to me, one of the most important positions. Because it's going to be some times you're down. It's going to be some times you're looking at yourself and you're starting to doubt. Your cheerleader will believe in you when you don't. Your cheerleader will always have something positive to say. Your cheerleader, I mean, think about a cheerleader in the most obvious sense. You've been to a game, you know, me having played on a number of different levels, I can see this. I can remember being on the sideline, down by 20 points with a minute left to go, and the cheerleaders are in the background going, you know, whatever their cheer is, and they're still cheering for you. They're still saying you're awesome and whatever. They don't get to a point where they see the obvious loss and then retreat and sit down. Cheerleaders keep cheering because cheerleaders see past the moment. Cheerleaders see what you're capable of, not just today, but in the future. You need a cheerleader in your circle. You need somebody that's big up in you all the time. This isn't a yes man. It's a cheerleader. It's a person that's looking at the potential in you and celebrating you, big upping you, encouraging you, lifting you. You've got to have that. Now, so in essence, what I've tried to share with you here is that this is not about just getting around some good people. When I talk about building your circle, I'm talking about doing it strategically. I'm talking about, now that's your immediate periphery. That's like the tight circle. But you're going to have a circle outside of that circle, and you can be a little bit more relaxed in choosing them. Obviously, you still want them to have certain standards, certain types of behavior, certain mindsets, but that immediate circle needs to have a completion and balance of spiritual energy, ideas, concepts, and ultimately relationships. You need a cheerleader, you need a mentor, you need a coach, you need a friend, and you need a peer. It's absolutely imperative that you understand that you need all of these, because each one performs a different thing. And you can get out and you can talk about it in multiple different ways. I've seen it expressed in so many different ways. To me, this is the simplest I've ever seen it expressed. It gets the point across, and that is immensely important. The thing is, I think that Jim Rohn was right. The people that you spend the most time around are going to have the greatest influence, and you're normally going to be about the average of everyone that you're around. So when I'm choosing mentors, coaches, even cheerleaders, everything that I'm choosing people that I have a reason to look up to, because I'm trying to set the standard of what my average would be. Now, it's good to have a cheerleader, but if your cheerleader is really low and that the only bright spot in their life is you, then that's going to impact your average. So I want a cheerleader that's cheering me on, but on their own stuff too. So you got to be aware of what you're doing. Find it. When you find it, connect to it. And I was sitting up, and I don't know if Michael is still on here or not, but that's how Michael and I came together. He was, checking what the work I was doing out from a distance. He had something he was working on, and he needed my insight. When we connected, there was something in me he saw, because he stayed connected. He facilitated. But see, the thing is, and I think Michael knows this because we talk a lot, but he didn't just come as a person looking for a mentor. That's why I say we probably have that hybrid relationship, because he brought something to the table. He functions in a number of, he almost functions in all of the roles. He functions sometimes as a coach. We've had these things where he sit down, he's talked to me, and I trust him. It's not this, I'm the Zen master, you're the student, don't dare tell me anything type relationships. It's like, I trust you. One of the few people I trust. And, so we sit down and we chop it up, and he gives me his opinion, but he functions as a cheerleader sometimes, and not in the hoorah type way, but in the way that he addresses me, in the way that he introduces me, in the way that he shares me with others. And the intro that comes with that, that's a cheerleader. That's big up. Said this dude right here. And so that's a cheerleader, but he also functions as a friend, probably more than anything else. Just somebody I can confide in, somebody I can have a moment with, and I don't have to worry about my business ending up in the street. That's important. It's important as well. So, but you choose people based on their type and the role that they're going to play, but you also want to choose somebody that's elevated high enough that they don't bring down your average. That's it. I'm going to get off here. Don't forget, if you have not gotten your pre-order, if you haven't pre-ordered I Am and got your free session with yours truly, do it today. The link is inside the description box. I've got to get out of here. I got some other things I want to do, but I will be back later on. You guys have an unbelievable day. Take care.